Hello, my dear friend. How are you? Today's topic is fibromyalgia. We discuss about right now about the fibromyalgia. So fibromyalgia is nothing but it is a generalized pain and pain followed by disability. Patient cannot work his normal day-to-day activities, and there is no structural cause of this kind of fibromyalgia. It is mainly an unexplained symptoms. That is a functional disease. No pathogenesis. The actual cause is not known, but poorly understood. But there is link between sleep and this type of pain. This is a vicious cycle. This is the vicious cycle, and it is more common in Western populations such as UK and US, and more common in case of female. The ratio is about 10:1. So it is a female disease. You know that all functional diseases are common in female, and it is more prevalent. And when age is increased, the chance of fibromyalgia is also increased. After 70, it is more 70%, 7%, and it is more common in case of psychological distress people, and there may be history of previous abuse, marital disharmony, alcoholism, illness in the family, poor sleep health, and previous injury, assault, low income, and some cases of racial variation also seen, and cultural variation also seen in case of fibromyalgia. So some risk factor. This is the risk factor of fibromyalgia. Maybe abusing history, marital disharmony, alcoholism, stress, poor sleep, injury. This is the risk factor. And previously, I told you that the cause of fibromyalgia is poorly understood, but there is a problem in sleep and pain sensation. There is a disorganization of CNS to processing the pain. So why these kinds of symptoms occur? And people complain of body sweat pain, and mainly the neck pain, shoulder girdle and hip girdle pain, and followed by disability. And usually this type of pain is not response to analgesic and NSAIDs. So people does not have any compliance to medicine, and medicine does not work properly in this case. So when we suspect a case of fibromyalgia, you give the painkillers, but patient is not responsive, and there is some functional symptoms. And in the case of female, so yeah, this is the clinical scenario where you think about the fibromyalgia. And one of the things that physiotherapy make the pain worse, and this pain is associated with fatigability, disability, and patient can usually dress, feed, and groom themselves, but they feel difficulty doing shopping and household work. So you think that they can dress, food, normal household activities usually does not hampered, but doing some work or housework they feel more difficult. And but when you examine the patient, you find nothing. Only the hyperalgesia. Hyperalgesia in some point when you give the digital pressure in multiple joint area, then patient feel the pain, more pain. Give the small pressure, but patient feel more pain. Usually it is given about the LBN joint area, and patient feel the pain. So you know that fibromyalgia is a pain and disability. It is more common in female and more common age patient, and there is some risk factors such as previous abuse, marital disharmony, alcohol, illness, and actual cause is not known, but the link in between sleep and pain processing, and patient has body sweat pain, and this pain is not respond to any physiotherapy, and fatigability, disability also present, and patient can do normal dressing, feeding, grooming, but cannot do household and shopping work, and they also pain fatigue also. And when we examine the patient, you find nothing but giving the digital pressure in different point area, there is hyperalgesia. So in this picture you see that uh, when there is sleep, see, you cannot make a sound sleep at night. So this non-restorative pain cause some pain, fatigue, functional disturbance, and why you cannot sleep properly. There is some cause of this less sleep, decreased sleep. There is some cause of this less sleep at night. When someone is affected by any disease, and there is some pain in some region of the body, and anxiety and life crisis, this factor uh, exaggerate the sound sleep. So when you are in anxiety, some life crisis, and some illness and some regional pain, you have got some sleep disturbance, and this sleep disturbance cause you then the pain, fatigue, functional disturbance, and when you can fatigue, you cannot do is normal household activity or anything like this, and causes reduce activity. So this is the cycle. This is the vicious cycle of fibromyalgia. There is some predisposing factor to become less sleep, and this less sleep cause pain, fatigue, and functional disturbance, and ultimately reduce activity. So, what is the signs? What is the symptoms? The usual symptoms I previously told you: pain in different whole generalized pain. This is the generalized body pain. Generalized body pain, but you cannot find any joint swelling and a sign of inflammation in any joint, such as finger joint, metaphalangeal or metatarsal joint. No specific joint area, and no sign of inflammation you find. But patient got the symptom of pain and stiffness, and ultimately fatigability, disability, and early some morning stiffness, and feeling of swelling of hand. Patient tell you that doctor, my finger is swollen, but you can't find anything. Maybe because his hand joint is not swollen, and some tingling sensation also present, and there is some other symptoms, others non-connective tissue disease symptoms. There's some functional symptoms such as functional headache, non-ulcer dyspepsia, IBS, or this symptoms present in this patient. And some times of abdominal pain. This is a sign symptom of IBS, abdominal pain, bloating, this kind of symptoms present, and some irritable bladder symptoms, bladder fullness, nostril frequency, and allodynia, hyperacusis, dyspareunia, discomfort when touched. And this patient frequently complain of chemical sensitivity. You give the drugs to patient and they complain, doctor, why you give me the drugs? These drugs makes me bad feelings, and this drugs does not work properly to me. So they frequently irritate you by asking and raising this issue. Doctor, this drugs does not work, and you give me the bad drugs to me. So patient has these types of nonsense activities. And they frequent complaint of chemical sensitivity. And and what is the differential diagnosis? What is the differential diagnosis of this fibromyalgia? And fibromyalgia actually is the diagnosis of exclusion. And there is some differential diagnosis of fibromyalgia. One of the mainly it is connective tissue disease, some hormonal problem. There is thyroid problem, parathyroid problem, and some connective tissue disease. And in connective tissue disease, you have got the SLE, rheumatoid arthritis, polymyalgia rheumatica, multiple sclerosis, axial spondyloarthropathy, and type 2 diabetes also. And one of the differential is chronic fatigue syndrome. This too is the anemia and chronic fatigue syndrome is the patient also got the fatigue. So you have this two differential, anemia and chronic fatigue syndrome with the differential of fibromyalgia. And in this picture, you see there is some different symptoms, some CNS symptoms, chronic headache, sleep disturbance, and depression, anxiety, and there is patient also some eye problem, muscle weakness, and patient occasionally complain of temporal mandibular joint dysfunction, some fatigability during chewing and swallowing, and there is costochondral joint also affected, and then there is complaint of chest pain and some muscular myofascial pain, twist fatigue, and some morning stiffness, general pain, and bladder symptom. I already told you about the increased urgency, incontinence, some IBS like symptoms such as chronic diarrhea, fullness, bloating, and the patient has complaint of menorrhagia, heavy period, and polymenorrhea, like this, sometimes amenorrhea. And in his stomach, there is some symptoms such as nausea and hypochlorhydria, lack of stomach acid. The patient says that my food is not digested properly, doctor. And also some skin problems such as dry skin and skin itching of the skin can also be present. So this is the common symptoms of fibromyalgia, and so so how can you investigate? How can you investigate this next disease? There is some DD you already mentioned it. So why you do the complete blood count in case of connective tissue disease, ESR CRP will be high, but in case of fibromyalgia it is usually normal. And thyroid function, you can do the thyroid function and parathyroid function including calcium, albumin, vitamin D, AC inhibitor level, and to exclude connective tissue disease you can do ANA and ENA profile. So on with the ANA and ENA profile. ENA profile to exclude some connective tissue disease, autoimmune disease, and also see the complement CD4, lupus anticoagulin, anticardiolipin antibodies, streptococcal antibodies, such as things. So SLE, you should exclude SLE, other connective tissue disease by this, and parathyroid, hyperparathyroidism, thyroidism, and inflammatory disease to see the ESR, CRP, serum amyloid, immunoglobulin, such things, and CBC, liver function test, general disease, if you present other disease. This is a routine test. So, what is the treatment of this disease? What is the treatment? What can we give them? So, usually the disease, the treatment is less. Treatment is very narrow. Treatment range is very narrow. At first, patient, you can find out what is the underlying aggravating factor of this fibromyalgia. Is there is any social factor? So we can refer to patient to the social worker. Any occupational factor present, or occupational any occupational disharmony present, marital disharmony present, we can try to solve this, and we can give the small dose of amitriptyline. But you know that sometimes this small dose of amitriptyline can be harmful to patient. There is no improvement after giving the amitriptyline. And other drugs such as the SNRI, SSRI, and tramadol, pregabalin, gabapentin, the limitation of their efficacy. And this is drugs is not usually helpful in this case. And another way to improve this patient lifestyle, and patient we can advise a graded increase in aerobic exercise, and some self-help studies and cognitive CBT is also helpful. And you should try to relieve the anxiety to patient, and there is some organization that provide information about this about these things of fibromyalgia, and they also arrange some support for this patient. So but without this treatment, all sort of things to do the patient, but sometimes some people are remain symptomatic despite this sort of treatment. So in short, in this picture you see there is a some tender joint in specific area. So if you start from the back, you see there is a C7 cervical spine area, neck area, and also the area above the suprascapular area, back from the back, and also in the lumbar area, and both the buttock area. Usually trochanteric bursa here, and in the front aspect you can be the first hip, below the first hip, the costochondral joint, and also the elbow, also the knee. So from the back you give the neck area 3 and back area 3, and also the front chest in 3, and elbow and knee joint. So this is the point, the typical tender point in fibromyalgia. You press over this area, and if the patient feel pain, but there is no sign of inflammation, then you think about this is a case of fibromyalgia. So what can we learn from this process? You know that the fibromyalgia is usually a functional disease, and it is actual cause is not known and poorly understood, and it is more common in case of female. The ratio is about 10:1, and in age group, and there is some risk factor including marital disharmony, alcoholism, smoking, stress, infection, such things. And there is a some differential diagnosis of these nasty things. Some connective disease, hyperthyroidism, and some SLE, lupus, multiple sclerosis, these things. And there is some symptoms, including body split pain, particularly disability, non-restorative sleep, and also fatigue, weakness, morning stiffness. And this is the symptoms patient have got. But when you examine, you find nothing. But the typical tender point area, and but there is no sign of inflammation. And in case of investigation, you can do the investigation of thyroid, parathyroid, connective tissue disease investigation, some routine test, SRCRP, and you give the patient treatment, some symptomatic treatment, education and counseling about the disease process, and social and occupational support, also the amitriptyline, and other drugs are usually not helpful, and guided exercise therapy, and also some cognitive behavioral therapy, self help coping strategy. This is the helpful thing to help the patient to improve their lifestyle and coping with the fibromyalgia. So thank you, friend. If you like my video, please share with your friends, and please subscribe my channel to encourage me to make this kind of videos. Okay, thank you.